Voice is okay, right? So we'll talk more about high performance work systems. Just can someone say that? Is that okay going on? I'm
Yes, ma'am.
juggling
Yes,
today.
ma'am. You are not visible, but the slides are quite, we can see it, and your voice is also quite audible, ma'am.
I'm not still visible. Oh, great.
No issues, ma'am. You can continue.
Okay, right. So every organization would like to invest their time more into high performance work systems to build. And what does a high performance work system do? And why is it we are very fond of creating an environment, an ecosystem for HPWS, that is high performance work systems. Okay. Now, every one of us in an organization would like to become one with that particular high performance or a net worth, individuals. And all of them, those who are delivering, are being considered that as high performance team member. Usually, all of them do share the same kind of ideology, or they are with the same, purpose. So they share in what? Meaningful purpose, right? And they always go with the more of a solution based and a performing brain. They would like to see to that, yes, I have got thousand issues in front of me, but how do I really solve it? So it's like we consider psychologically say that someone who's focusing more on performing, right? And then engaged all of them, most of the organization, when they're putting into a pyramid structure. So all the talents are being engaged in such a way that they're empowering, they're learning, they're upskilling, and they're also trying to take the feedback of that to what extent that we still have to. A lot of investment go into L&D and talent engagement, and talent is being empowered. Many organizations do argue that if I really put them into a rigorous training, one is my work suffer. Second one is they would leave me because they're getting empowered with the latest techniques and technology solutions or the training programs. That is a second category of organization who thinks that what if they leave after I give them the important training programs. But the point here is most of the high performance work systems look at it, even if they go into the market, that after I gave the training, they go and then take the training and then market themselves elsewhere is also good for me because that training is already there in the point of the person. So some companies do think in terms of that. I don't care even if they leave, but the point is as long as they're working with me, my talent is supposed to deliver and I should support them in empowering them. These are two philosophies which we get to see in the market, that some of them are would like to see test you and then put you into upskilling or investing in upskilling. Some of them would like to take some contracts saying that after sending you to an US or any other Harvard or IIMs or any other training program, minimum you will give me something, some returns. Up to 3 years, you're not going to jump anywhere. So these are internal issues, but the point is um, the high performance work systems are supposed to engage the talents in more of a upskilling thing. Strategic alignment, the entire organization, why they are there in one place and what they are doing, is there a strategic alignment. Sometimes we don't have the strategic alignment, all right. And sometimes they have a proper strategic alignment because packaging industry is also there, so food industry is also there, hotel industry is also there, their schools are also there, their garments, everything is, for one packet of theirs, their own packaging industry will send the packet, and for something else their own company. So it's a very proper strategic alignment of their entire production process or their other diversified activities also. For some companies they're into a different kind of sectors. Maybe they would like to see that strategic alignment does happen. Until unless you are paying attention to your strategic alignment with your goals or with your other resources, both supply chain wise and the other mechanisms wise, that will be a bit uphill task for you to receive the results. It's easier. We're not talking theory. We're also trying to see that some companies suddenly they put their investment into something. Okay. High trust collaborations, most of the trust collaborations, some collaborations, some joint ventures do fall apart, but the investment of money, time, and your effort is going into the direction of high trust collaboration. Some companies that we have actually tried, some companies they went into JVs and their mergers and acquisition M&As, they fall apart. Why? That why is a big question. You have to battle there in your directors' chambers or in your boardrooms. But continuously putting efforts to go for more of a high trust collaboration and continue to get the delivery from that particular collaboration. This is one of the important high performance work systems, because not everything is being done by you alone. You would like to have more hands, and you would like to seek out to those partners who are good in what they do, right? You don't have to do everything from A to Z, and which is not the way that we are supposed to do also. In today's day, more of amalgamation, more of a collaboration is what the game. That's the original way of doing it, because I don't want to manufacture something just because I have. I think one of the prestige showrooms that I went to, I think I might have um, shared this example. I asked that fellow, the store manager, store karta, why you actually manufacturing mixers? In fact, nobody is looking for prestige mixers. Although you want to get into cross selling and cross branding of your thing, but you're not good for you have not benchmarked yourself there. Why do you want to exercise yourself that you want to be there in the wet grinder, you want to be there in the prestige grinders also? In fact, I'm seeing last 1 year it's there only. Nobody is buying it, that particular piece. Even if somebody is buying, they will come with lot of, because you're not having that kind of bandwidth, and you have to maintain. Who's this particular decision? They said that no, ma'am, strategically we wanted to buy we want to be there in that also. Just because you wanted to be in that also, you want to be, or do you think that you have market assessment? I'm not here just as a theoretical, but I'm trying to have a curious discussion with that store karta. The discussion went up to the regional manager and so on. He also said that there's no clue, ma'am. Suddenly there is a strategic decision saying that we will also be start manufacturing prestige mixers and prestige wet grinders. I said, fine, good. But in your shelf, in everything that what we see, it's not moving. Nobody's buying it, right? So that's a very different way of pushing yourself into the market. You come up with a new thing, and that new variant is nobody is looking at you. Prestige is your TTK's prestige is only we are looking at you for the pressure cookers, right? Make your mark first and then bring it into it. So sometimes your strategic decisions and collaborations with some other company to just to produce is also falling apart, because market responds in a very different way. So every object and everything that you bring into the market must have been muscled over in such a way that why am I going into it? It's easiest to speak something like this. I know that there is a lot of homework went into it, but still, as an onlooker and as a very good, keen observant of decision making of companies, and because this is my bread and butter, I learn from observing in the market, and I take that back to the my classroom. So that's the reason I'm taking this initiative to talk to. I spoke these things to the prestige regional manager. He said, you know what he said, ma'am, I'm just implementing. I'm not part of that strategic decision making, but the point is we understand that we would like to diversify, and it's been 4 years. I know that we are not, our sales figures are not that good. We cannot speak about that so proudly. I said, fine, that's the answer. You got it, right? So these are discussions that everything that I try to talk in terms of a theoretical background of how do you think that you can bring or that culture who's always into upscaling and who's always into a proper strategic alignment. How does it happen? It doesn't happen overnight, but you need to take a lot of very harsh reality based feedbacks from the market and readjust. There's no harm in getting failed. There's no harm in getting a very flat answer from the market. Market doesn't embrace you right from the first day, which is known. But our homework is continuous. This is what a high performance work systems do it, and on an average, that's what it is. And last thing, but this is the most important thing, is vibrant leaders. What do you mean by vibrant leader? The leader who's learning, the leader who's making the entire system to put on to the learn, the leader who's open, that he who says that I know what I know, I don't know what I don't know. I'm ready for learning, and I'm very clear and open for every harsh, real, feedback coming back to me, because if my product is not good, it's not good. To large extent, I accept it. I cannot take that as my pride or ego is being hurt. So vibrant leaders are the one who are actually taking 360 degrees of feedback, and they're trying to learn, and they're trying to make that ecosystem work, right? And there's no single definition of how do you spot a vibrant leader, because many of them would be leading without title. You may not see that leadership in that, because who are actually taking responsibility and accountability and then standing for it, and they take bullets for their own team and then constantly learning. It's not just staying back in the office is, the vibrant person. The staying back late hours in the office itself is a benchmark that you take great responsibility. That's not the single parameter that we are trying to talk about. Maybe it's one of the parameters, that somebody who's really dedicating, but somebody also would be staying back and then doing something else and then give a picture that I'm working very hard. That's a different story. I don't want to get into it, but that's also there. Now, let's say that work rules. Before I go for this, six traits that define the performance thing, I'll just keep this on and then see to that. How do you actually define your team in whichever capacity that you are right now in your company? How do you define your team? Is it high performance, or is it towards working towards becoming a high performance, or you're far away, or you're already achieved? Three categories. And what are the challenges, at least one, to align with your entire team to perform to that particular deliverables, and what are your daily or your mundane challenges, either communication or emails or raw material or alignment of your own people. At least one or two areas is a very repetitive recurrent issue, which is not yet fixed. And to fix it, I think you have lot many other things also to get fixed in the pipeline. Only then that one single problem, although it looks like one single problem, it's not one single problem. It has got more tentacles connected to many more things. That's what happens in the organization. For understanding more complexity, we're trying to say, right? Before I go for this one, this is one area. Please do share at least one aspect or one sentence or one a feel of your team issues or a team thing, then we will try to be more aligned with our discussion of why we talk about Google. We can talk about our own organization, right? We're taking one slide or one example of it, what they do or what would like to emulate from Google's kind of thing, or as a larger discussion, right? So I'll keep quiet. I'll keep quiet, and then please do at least raise your hand and then try to talk about it. What's happening in your organization in terms of team management, alignment, and anything, please. Yes. Can someone talk, please? Any example? Your challenges, Vikas Raji. Values alignment. Yeah, can you elaborate?
Yeah, ma'am, actually, I'm working for Sun Pharma.
Uh huh.
And the values are humility, integrity, passion, and innovation.
Mm-hmm.
And this you will find right from the owner, Mr. Dilip Bhai Sangvi,
Mm.
to his daughter and his son, to the cluster head, senior vice president, the vice president, right from the top level to the sales executive level. This has been inculcated in such a manner that I should work with honesty, that is
Mm-hmm.
integrity,
Mm-hmm.
passion, that is with lot of energy, and I should give extra effort. Means this is the way we teach them, that this is the meaning as per the thought process of my owner, the owner of the organization. And MD also work in the same alignment, and MR, the sales executive, also work in the same alignment. And we also believe in innovation. So innovation is different for the sales executive. They have very nicely defined for the very bottom level. So they said innovation at bottom level. And of course, the upper level is daily reading and upgrading your knowledge and skill. So this is a very simple manner, madam. They have given this humility means I should be very humble in my approach, whether team management, whether I'm with my customer. Then they said integrity, honesty with my team member, honesty with my customer. Then passion, that is energy, that is serving my customer and serving my team also. I should be carrying energy, positive energy in team enhancement and positive energy in terms of serving customer. And lastly, innovation, upgrade your knowledge and skill so that you should be maintaining the number one position of the company.
Is it written as a?
Yes, yes, madam. It is written in the when you enter, no, in our Mumbai office, we will see
Mm-hmm.
that written in a nice coloration, and then there is a sun as a depicting the picture, the natural sun.
Yeah. Which group you are from, sir?
I am from Madam Sun Pharma Industries.
Sun Farmer. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that's one of the leading
Organization in pharma
farmer.
industry.
Yeah. Yeah. Super. 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 So this makes you reiterate every time you enter into the organization, right?
Yes, and we teach them. I am a training manager, madam. So every new joinee, the
Ah.
first we show them is the this slide.
Mm. You have a photograph of it? I would like to see one by one, although you are explaining. Can you just share over here? Super.
Right. Actually, I'm in my way. I'll just see, madam, if it is possible. Otherwise, I'll mail you if it is feasible. It is there, madam. It is in this slide.
Okay.
Just give me some time.
No. um, Great, great. I'm leaving my email over here.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So that's fantastic. That's great. So you feel that is making wonders because you already have started giving that into as your feeders. I mean, you try to put that as part of your DNA for every new entrant, and they take it, and you try to make sure that not only from the person who's new and you put it into the brain, the one who's continuously working in the organization also look at it and reiterate and conform to their own behavior because formations do work a lot wonders on our brain because what you see constantly will remind you to be that even if it is 1% that will be there on the brain. It is a long process for brain to align with the value systems of the organization that you're working. Very harsh reality because it doesn't come naturally unless you are already aligned as a person. That's the reason most of the time that we are paying a lot of attention to evolution of an individual as an individual first. If you are not evolving, let's say that my habit as an individual, if you as a person you have a habit of procrastination, you have a habit of wasting things even in your lunch, you have a habit of not responding to certain things, you have a habit of put so many things into your refrigerator and use only few things, and after 2 weeks you will throw them not to give anyone. If this is what is part of your lifestyle, I think that will also reflect in whatever you do in your organization because we carry those things because our neuro linguistic combinations of what we do is where exactly the problem is. So unless you fix this over here, it has to be their lifestyle thing. That's the reason most of the organizations are paying attention to. First of all, please do fix your any continuous regular issues with your own behavior with your own lifestyle, with your own approach and attitude towards your own life purposes, so that you will not waste the paper at my office. Wasting is part of it comes naturally. For some people, saving comes naturally. For some people, wasting comes naturally. So, this natural thing, you have to redefine yourself, you have to reprogram yourself. Then only we can come to that particular integrity of it. Not that just because somebody has put a fine or somebody is observing through the camera, you are not going to waste it. So, these are certain very major shifts or changes in the organization's value system to be there on your shoulder. There's a lot to go. I appreciate anyone who is doing as a continuous process, and it's a very continuous process to make your team to live up to that of what to write on your vision or statements, and I appreciate it. Okay, yeah, anyone else? Anything that rest of the team also can understand that your efforts are really paying well back to you for creating a high performance team or a very agile team or a very successful team. Any one example? I'm making you talk, but the point is, I'm not getting the response. Anyone? Pradeep ji, Shrikant Desai ji, Durga ji, Ricky ji, DP, Shruti, Gaurav Parekh, Namita Gupta ji, Chandra ma'am, yes? No one is calling you like this in other sessions. I'm trying to make at least give some discussion, interaction.
Can I talk, ma'am? Is it okay?
Yeah, please, ma'am. Please, ma'am. Please.
See, I had an opportunity to head a team of nearly over 250 people who were all technically developers and above. They were different gradation in that. So our now this is a team which is totally secluded, and they do a lot of work facilitation, but they don't face the front office, or they do not face the people who actually are into selling or into giving service. So they facilitate. Now since I had this opportunity, I had worked in different kinds of assignments. So during this one assignment as heading the IT team at our corporate office, I could really understand and make them also understand the point of view of the grassroots personnel and why they are doing that. Like so doing things because it has to be upgraded, or trying to come up with new software, or having a tie-up strategic partnership with some vendors. All those things are different. But then logically what goes into as a final product and how is it viewed. So that part of it, somewhere I felt I could play that role in making them understand, because these are the people who never get an opportunity to work with people who actually do the job. They only get inputs and they try to probably visualize and come up with what is required based on feedbacks. So that was one thing which I felt like if I look back, I'm able to see in that particular assignment, I could really see, everybody knows the value of the organization, whatever the vision, mission, goals. But then coming to having this kind of a feel, making them understand and making them realize why they are doing it and how it would affect even a small delay. For example, any feedback is given. So for them, it's a feedback. But then here at a grassroots, there's a person standing in the counter. There's a person who is standing, whose claim has to be settled. Since I'm in the insurance sector, so that the empathy factor, or I would say the kind of putting themselves in their shoes, that part of it, like I could play that role, which I cherish now.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Should we continue or anyone else? Please do share. Is this visible now? The slide is visible, right? Clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is one book, interestingly, although it's very sleek, and then, but if you get it even in the audio thing book. Maybe it's worth looking at it. Work rules, insights from inside Google, the way the team is being given. Of course, we all talk about the Google getting more freedom and so on, but it also it's a high performance work system which is asking for high performance results, and then that will transform how you live and lead. Also is a very interesting examples that you can see from the Google's point of view. But coming back to originally 6 traits that define a high performance culture as it is, a common purpose and goals is being taken care of, because if you're talking about innovation, everybody is talking about innovation, right from the peon who wants to do better. I've seen some of them, those who are actually helping in my lecture sessions. One day, similarly, this particular network issue and then camera issue or even a slide changer issue has happened. And after the whole program went on very well, actually, but the guy who comes to me and said that his name is Mayur said that nobody asked him. He said that, madam, we will be much more alert and be ready for certain issues. I said that, yeah. What is that you're going to do? He said that, ma'am, I will keep that slide changer with me, or I'll put another student who will take care of it so that you will not get worried. I said that I didn't give this suggestion. I didn't even bother him that why don't you fix it. But he's coming with his own thing, because वहाँ पे आपका थोड़ा टाइम वेस्ट हुआ ना, हमने वो देखा था. He is just an electrician or a who's a manager who's managing the room or the infra. But his idea is not to get waste. I did waste. I did struggle for 1 or 2 times where to go for a slight change and something took time. So it's fantastic. So immediately I have written a very good email saying that this guy is acting with lot of accountability and ownership, and he's not waiting for somebody to give the attention or thing, right? And that's what makes the high performance. It's not just the title. He's just a managing person for that particular room or a classrooms or technical sessions or technical support system. But a technical support system is coming back and telling me that we will not waste time like this, ma'am. We will try to immediately we will do something. I said, fantastic. That's a cheer moment for me, because I want to see that coming from the bottom up. It's the person who's actually taking responsibility for very minute issues at the very lower level. He's also speaking as if he has to fix it, and he's the one. He's not blaming it, मैम ये हुआ नहीं ना इसीलिए आपका हो गया, हम बड़े बच्चे आपको बताएंगे, वो नहीं. He is not saying that. वहां पे उनकी डिस्कशन में बड़े साहब कोई है ही नहीं उसके दिमाग में. He says that we will fix it, ma'am. I'll try to do it and I'll buy something and I'll ask something to permission. I said, fantastic. This language makes lot of difference. This language makes a lot of difference, because language is the result of what you think inside every sentence that we utter, right? That's a fantastic discussion. I'm trying to say from my own point of view. So this 6 traits, basically common purpose and goals, everybody think in terms of the same thing, right? Unified by a common purpose. We are all unified by a common purpose, but when we really function, we don't function that way. That's the reason there's so much of deviation. Somebody is giving delivery of the work quickly or consistently, he's performing. Somebody is not doing, because you are actually looking for the external motivation, but you are not really going by that single purpose of that we have a common purpose, common goal for all of us. And some people, we lose that particular attention or a track of what we do in an organization over a period of time, because the battle is for I. Most of the organization, very sorry to say, but in the mid-level crisis of the managers, people those are 40, 45 and reaching to 50, there is a different kind of crisis that is happening in the brains of people, which is very, very common, which is real also. I appreciate it that they are going through that and speaking this particular issue is, I'm experienced, I've given so much to organization, I'm yet to be into a different position and I haven't been moved. When this concern is eating your brain, forget about a common purpose. So most of the time they are into a self-talk with themselves. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? And why am I being sent to so many training programs when I've already delivered so much? So I don't need further. Or I'm not being moved from this to that. So then you are actually into your own I category. right? You are into your own world of it, which is real. It's bound to happen because you have your own concern about your own personal growth, and then this will hamper the whole system in a way that your DNA is not getting the way it is supposed to, right? So your common goal, common purpose is always into a second seat, and you did not move up the ladder is always the first seat in your discussion or in your cognitive thought process, and that is where we become alien to the entire system of organization culture because I'm into my own world, right? Irrespective of what is happening with you, are you actually jumping into it? I'm not pushing as a philosophical work or a philosophical thought process, but the point is what comes next. But what are you doing with yourself? What are you trying to align yourself with? Is it a victimhood, or is it a kind of a complete approach towards every minute I'm trying to evolve? These are two choices, and it's a very workshop based learning. Whenever I speak that this cannot be done unless you move out of it, you will not move. There's a link out of it when we talk about psychological discussions, right? So that's also part of it. High performance work systems, a culture. Before we talk about, there's a huge cognitive thought process, and why people pick up certain people only for that. When somebody says that 6 बुलेट खाने के बाद भी ये जा रहा था आदमी, एंड देन ही वाज ट्राइंग टू प्रोटेक्ट ए बॉर्डर, इज नॉट ए जोक एज अ स्टेटमेंट. It's a reality of that somebody who has taken that decision, psychologically. And there's a dopamine, there's a cognitive approach towards somebody's attention towards details and attention towards what I want to do with my life and what I want to do with my particular team or what I want to do with my particular target or a task. It's a very defined moment of how we take decision, but that's not an abrupt decision, right? It's not. It is always a very cognitive approach. We live by the beliefs that we constantly feed ourselves. And that is where high performance work systems and culture is not an overnight homework. It's not overnight results. It is a continuous. Raise your hands how many of you agree with this, right? So culture cannot be built overnight. It is a very continuous, proper effort, and everybody to bind for it. Okay? Yes. So empowerment, many of us do say that empowerment, how much of information is being given to you properly? How much of files are being forwarded to you before time? And maybe tomorrow you have 2 days, within 2 days you may have to read 52 pages and come back with a thorough, impeccable presentation. That's nonsense. No. Sometimes it is a warfoot basis we do it, but usually you are being empowered with information before time. You're being given that breathing time. You're being also empowered with a lot of other information and training programs. That's a proper 360 degrees of empowerment. So people do call it I empower my team. And nobody is actually, interfering in what you take, and how do you really get things done with your team, and how much of, most importantly, how much of money you spend, what are the financial permissions that you have to take for every project or for everything. In the process of empowerment, we all talk very easily empowering them through the trainings, which is easier, you know pay something to some institution or some kind of company, train them, fine. But the point is, internally there is a block. That particular block is also putting a lot of trouble. That is your bills, your financial projections, your budget's approval, how much of time that takes internally for your budget approval, for your projections, what you project for your future is being approved. Even if it is one or two discussion, it still gets approved. That is a very good great green signal. How many of you agree with me? Raise your hand. If you want the new thing to happen, your budgets, your things to be also aligned with that. Don't take too much of time and back and forth. That fellow will actually forget and will feel so bad. Thank you, sir. Pradeep, sir. Thank you. So they'll feel very bad that why did we come up with this idea when our budget is not going to get approved at all. And they speak a lot of empowerment, but at the end of the day, when it comes to money, when it comes to spending something, when it comes to categorizing, allotting some kind of funds for certain new ventures, I don't think there is alignment in their own expenditure. There is no projection for the expenditure of certain things. Then what are you trying to do with the high performance work systems? I don't think it will happen. It will continue with the same thing. Two more steps we will be able to do. And that is where the hamper results get hampered, right? So growth mindset and empowerment are very two important things that should go hand in hand. And open and effective communication, it's a very important sentence. Rather, we speak a lot, but how much your organization is open for the particular communication or effective communication, and then they are not what do you call, they're not encouraging any back end operations with the communication or something, or they would like to give only half of it, and it's a very pratha goes in your office that everybody knows that it's only 20% of the information is always secret. So a lot of secrecy, a lot of what do you call, undercurrent orientation happens in certain organization in spite of being called as a corporate. That's a different culture altogether, and they suffer from that also. Like, even in 787 Dreamliner, some of them were actually against with certain aspects of Dreamliner's projects combination. But that didn't go for a further discussion, or that was hushed. Whenever there is a hushing up of that particular alert system or something, then you have a bigger problem waiting for you in the corner. So let's see that open and effective communication, it's easier said than done. And it has its own, what do you call, challenges, but the one who's doing it, I think they're getting the results out of it, right? Agility and security, organization having a great agility and security, even if somebody gives you a new idea and say that collapse it and then go for a new thing, how fast you think that you can do it. You have got an idea, but for implementation, it took 3 years. By then, the market is something else, right? And market is responding in a different way, and your counterpart or your competitor has already brought the new product in the market. You're still there in the acquiring of the diagrams or something else. So that's where your agility also matters, idea and agility, right? So in the COVID, I think, when the Paytm fellow has come forward. That's the first prime move he has gotten. Of course, now that PhonePe has taken over the market and along with the Google Pay. But the point is, at that point of the time, the prime move has made him to gain the market quickly because he was ready with the idea and also to jump into it. So many times your agility also makes you become that system, right? And the last one is very critical. I don't get into it because effective performance reviews, each HR, each L&D, each particular senior person, the way that they're designing the performance reviews in some organizations, very meticulously done. Some organizations, the program itself will calculate, and if you have put that value, it will give you that result. And if you're having that result, you will anyway get your increment, but no individual would fiddle into your report. If that is a foolproof system, you're fantastic. But there are some issues every time whenever there is performance reviews happen, and even grievance handling also is part of your open and effective communication. How well you close the loop, how well you close a particular discussion with your team, or you said that I've sent you mail and that's what you got it. But there should be a kind of another communication also, because retaining good employees, retaining even mid-level employees who are actually giving you so much of work is part of high performance work system, because we don't want to offload anyone at this point of the time. And nurturing, retaining, taking care of them, mentoring is also part of the building that particular good culture. So elements of a high performance work system, so organizational structure is being fixed, task design is very clear, and then performance and the is a result of it. Now when we go for it, organization structure, task design is so clearly being thought of discussion, and then people selection, training and development. So all of them are highly aligned, and the reward system is also quickly, if you have done it, immediately you will get your reward. People are so rest assured and secure, saying that no problem, my system is so automatic. If I've done 10 hours of work at this particular hour, and I will get automatically, because the system notes it, and then it transfer the information, and people will act on it, and that will be converted into my reward, either into financial term or into a appreciation. So I don't have to fight for that. So a system which is so foolproof and so automatic in creating and noting and observing how many work hours and how much of contribution an individual is doing, basing on that, reward comes automatic. So when you are able to create that feel in your employees, saying that I don't have to fight for my reward, I don't have to fight for my recognition. They are observing, they know, and I will get what I'm supposed to. So that's what is our normal tendency. So that's the reason we don't get into the fights in the common discussions, because I don't have to raise my voice. I will get what I want. If you could make your entire organization system in such a way that people have got the trust, they are being observed, and if they've really put into that particular beautiful process of work into it, they'll get the reward. If this is being built, even if it is an iota of a doubt, people will not get it. If this is being built, even one person you could do it, less than one person, I think that's a fantastic system. But it's easier said than done, but it's a process, right? Now, information systems, all your information systems aligned, and you are empowering them, you're feeding right information to it. It's only half of it, or it's not done. The first page talks many more things, the second page talks only half of it. By the time you come to a fifth page or a fifth process, it's not talking anything, and it's still yet to be updated. That's a very, very bizarre thing to talk about, right? So organization's goals and the performance, between this much of homework is supposed to, unless you do it on a daily basis, unless you are targeted, all the managers, all the vice presidents are actually talking in terms of this, then you are building a HPWS, right? What are the benefits? Employee, he thinks more involved, experience, growth, and satisfaction, because you're being sent on to a very important assignment. That assignment itself is going to be a great uh, sentence, or a great thing to be showcased in your resume forever, ever since you have been put into in that assignment or a kind of a work that are being given to you. A more valuable as contributors, you will be elevating yourself, or your evolution as an individual, as a performer, as a professional, is going to be much more catchy for the market, because you worked on certain systems, which is the important technical tools or systems for the organization as well as for the market. So market looks at you that you are the most contemporary guy, and you are the high perform deliverer, right? And that is a best benefit that can happen to any employee who's part of a high performance work systems. The other subtle examples of a benefits are, you will become forever as a high performer. Once somebody has become a high performer, that means you just go there. It's like a plug and play. You go to your new environment, you'll start the same job, because the patterns are made in your brain that you will function in the same way. You'll not wait. Somebody has to give me the market analysis. Somebody has to. No, no, no. Even you go to Andaman Nicobar, you will do the same thing, because you're trained for that, right? So that's a beautiful, what do you call, analysis. And I personally feel that, right? If you allow me, I was there south, in down south, Visakhapatnam. Of course, being in Visakhapatnam, I went to 7 to 8 countries to work with every 1 year, 1.5 year, an international assignment, and come back again, go back to the hometown, Visakhapatnam, and Hyderabad between. But the point here is, now I'm in Maharashtra. I moved to Maharashtra. The same work, within 6 months, I could deliver many things the same way that I used to do it in Visakhapatnam. So most of my teammates and others here and there were saying that, okay, you didn't get any trouble because just because you moved out of, you relocated yourself. No, I said that no. If I know the work and if I know what I have to do, all I have to do is I just have to pick up a bit of good Marathi, and or I need to know somebody till I get to the find my feet. I need someone who can tell me where is what and then how is it going here in this particular context. But otherwise, the work is the same. And I feel that the same thing can happen because your DNA, your parameters fixing, the way that you function has already been set in your brain. So in your new setup also you will do the same thing. So this is a very interesting example that people those who are being trained and those who have delivered in the high performance work systems, they will create wherever they go. Even if there's one person, he'll slowly try to pick up the high performers. Slowly, two, three guys, and that becomes a very interesting group for the rest of the organization. And everybody wants to be treated, and everybody wants to be what do you call called that you are a high performer. But what is your take on to become a high performer is a different story. That's where a lot of workshop, lot of regular learning has to happen, even for an individual. Now, for what happens for an organization? High productivity, quality, flexibility. People are willing to change and come back and do it, even if it is two times, three times. Somebody is rejecting, you are good at, and you go back. And customer satisfaction, people are going to be more happy with you because you're delivering and you're trying to construct that kind of trust, give saying that okay, we will come back. If it is not liked, we will come back. There's no point. So we will not try to push the product if it is not being accepted. We'll come back with again corrections. So that customer satisfaction is invaluable, incredible. Of course, in the process what happens is your costs also will go low because you're in a continuous constant learning. So we are not wasting the system by not taking the feedback of it. Now, Blake and Mountain's managerial grid for the entire high performance work systems to happen. Before I go for it, does anyone want to share anything? I just would like to see to it that without any interaction, I'm moving to another slide. It doesn't feel good for me. But anyone, is it a myth or is it doable? It's only one question I am saying that. How many of you consider yourself that a high performance work culture is already there in my organization and I'm part of it or I contribute to it? Next, is it a myth or is it doable or is it happening already in your organization? Can you respond, please? Raise your hand.
Madam, I believe it's very much doable.
It
Okay.
is doable.
Yeah.
Ah,
And so obviously, not many organizations would definitely would like to contribute and keep on doing well because
mm,
if that work culture is not there, working there does not make sense in the longer run. And the aspiration to grow will not be there within the organization and the employees.
mm,
So the charm of working there will not be there.
yes,
So we are very much part of the work culture where high performance is something which is appreciated and something which is being followed with.
yes, yes. And the system is always rewarding you back if you're a high performer. People do observe, and everybody would like to become like you because you're already being noted, observed, labeled, or rather being given that kind of a good feel that you're a high performer, right?
In fact, madam, one thing which I've observed over a period of time is that if in case you are part of that culture, or in fact you are having that system in place where you want to be a high performer, automatically your body language, your thought process, everything is different.
Yeah, yeah,
And company might support, might not support, it's secondary, but ultimately it actually percolates down to every aspect of your life.
super, super. Yes,
And madam, it is built in KRA actually.
yeah,
The KRA is made in such a way, weightage is given in a KRA in such a way, ma'am, that that culture is automatically built in the employee.
uh, sometimes this slide is becoming half of it. I don't know why. So. I'm trying to talk about Blake and Mountain's leadership styles. Let me just hold on. There is a band coming. Okay. That's okay, right? Yeah.
Visible, madam.
Yeah. So there's a system that we try to understand in every organization. There is organization culture. Before we try to fix the problem with the work systems, I think we have to understand how did that culture evolve and what is it actually adapting, and what is working in that culture, and what is defining that as a culture, organization culture, right? So there's a Blake and Mountain's managerial grid. We do talk in terms of organizational behavior. We do talk in terms of organization development, if at all there is the process that you want to see to it that you are evolving with that, right? So each one has its own style. Usually, either you are people bound or you are production bound. Either you are very impoverished, it is 1.1, 1.9, and 9.1, but they have tried all of them, right? If you try to Google and try to learn more about Blake and Mountain, in today's day, I think we are trying to come forward with a discussion how a culture should be, because there are various organization cultural patterns that people have observed and taken note of it, and from which you have got a don'ts of it, also you have got a do's of it. So the do's and don'ts are being, um, looked at, and that is where it has become a code of conduct saying that let's not go by that, let's do this. So in that let's do this and let's confine ourselves to something called this culture has been a very important aspect of building an organization culture, right? In which 5.5, that means it is a middle path of it. Neither you are a two people or a, it's like a people bound culture. It's like more of a PSUs or more of a government organization. Something goes wrong, the whole entire, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन गोस इनटू अ टॉस, नारेबाजी हो जाएंगे सब, पीपल को कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो गया, देन यू विल हैव अ प्रॉब्लम. नेक्स्ट वन इज अ प्रोडक्शन ओरिएंटेड. More of a Chinese or a Japanese or a Koreans is more of a production oriented, although they would like to deny it, but that's a reality. It's more of a production cannot suffer. Whatever happens to you, right? Even if somebody is completely, there is an expired news, you just attend it and come back. So because we need, there's a commitment from you that you will have to deliver it, which is interesting, which is good. But the point is, there's a lot of stress over there. So some of the countries or the companies are also fall into the category of highly production oriented. They are not worried about what is happening to the people. That is where the Foxconn case, you can even Google, please do write down or see to it that if you know already, but I'm trying to share this as part of a discussion. Foxconn, Foxconn village, China. Can you mute, please? Rikiji or somebody.
AKG mute. Madam, can you
Hello.
repeat the name again?
Foxconn, Foxconn.
What is that all about?
Um,
रिकी जी म्यूट करो. Madam, you can do it actually. You might not be aware that. Done. Thanks.
okay.
Yeah, thanks.
So Foxconn is a company which has also come to India, which was exclusively dedicatedly an SEZ, a special economic zone, where it is making factories. It's a full of village of factories in China, right? So it's into manufacturing spree, right? So I think 7 to 8 years back, Foxconn's incident has shook the entire world. saying that 36 to 37 people gone into their window and then they jumped out of that floor, 11th or 12th floor. Reason, their brain is not taking anything anymore because they're being put into rooms, and on a bell they have to get up and then get to the factory, eat, and then again work and come back. So in the process, what happened, their brain completely knocked out, and then they did attempt suicide, which is properly they're being declared dead. So from now, even now, if you Google, all the Foxconn factories now have got mesh doors onto their windows. This is the um, dangerous signal of highly production oriented. I don't care. I just want a 16 hours, 18 hours. Although they say that we're giving you facilities of staying here, it's like a bunker beds. 40 people will be staying in a big hall, in a bunker bed. So anyway, that's a very interesting story and very, very dangerous signal of a story from China. Now, what I would like to say is, as an extension of a discussion of my research and observation, Western world knows about it. Everyone who's buying products from in China knows about it, how it is treating their own employees and high production oriented, not a people oriented at all. Fine. But at the end of the day, we all want cheap goods. The world wants cheap goods, right? Economies dictate the terms, and your ratios of how much your yield and profits dictate, right? So that is where the whole system is now. Some countries are being categorized that they're high production oriented, in which China is production is my goal, I don't care what happens to my people. And that's where humanity or UNs or human rights people also have intervened. Thank God that India has not gone. You should not treat your production oriented as your focus. You will end up into a big problem, because that's how the Foxconn has entered. Today, I think a lot of challenges I went through. Can we actually see to it that I can continue like this? My laptop completely power. There's a power challenge over here. Uh,
No worries, ma'am. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. So Foxconn is an example of how Foxconn has treated or treating even continuously now also. Um, it's highly production oriented. Or some of the government organizations of India is highly people oriented. So one understanding or learning from this is, if you move too much from the production oriented is also a problem for the people. Too much of people oriented. I think I gave this example, or I would like to continue to give this example. I cannot name the organization, but one government organization, for a training program they've given as an order, I went and wanted to meet them. So I went to meet those team members that they are going to be there in the next day in the training program. Interestingly, by 2:45 or 3 o'clock, we went there, because this is my usual way of meeting them before and understanding their pain points along with their seniors, the one who is actually designing and asking for their training program. I would like to meet also the people who are there in the team who are assigned. So what happened? All of them were actually playing a football or volleyball thing, and they were just standing in the ground, and they were not at all giving the eye-to-eye contact. They said that we don't want a training program. It's the HR who decided to put us into a training program, because this is our time to play. So we don't have to play with you, or you do. I mean, we only will play, and we don't have to talk to you. That's a body language. I was so petrified. What is happening? Am I going to talk to these people? But the point is, that is how they are being given that freedom, and that is how it's a very what do you call, highly people oriented. We just do what we feel like, right? It's a PSU. And when they say that tomorrow is the training program, you're all joining, one guy who says immediately that, ma'am, please do consider that we will get this kind of snacks. We will get this kind of snacks. I was so petrified. Am I going to talk to them and I'm going to train them? Because that's what it is. It's working for them. It's working for them because they are highly people oriented organization. So people kuch galat ho gaya, narabazi, and then we are okay to do it. They are not even asking what we are going to get trained tomorrow. They're only asking what snacks we are going to get tomorrow. Ma'am, this is how it is. We don't want the same repetition of these snacks which is happening there in our government organization. I said, okay, we'll definitely consider. Fine. Of course, the training program went on well and it extended, and we have got very good feedback. But it was not easy because it's highly people oriented kind of company, right? And then when you have highly people oriented, you have given them a different provision, and they will not come back, and they will not, what do you call, they will not step down, and they'll ask for the same provisions throughout. And that's where it becomes challenge for you to become midway. Once they have got used to that kind of freedom, I think it's difficult for you also as a leader to bring them back to production oriented. So too much of production oriented, too much of people oriented, both of them have given them a different life of, set of examples for us not to get into either side of it. Come somewhere in the middle of it, somewhere in the mid path where you are not too much production oriented. Of course, sometimes production may be less, but you're also giving importance to people. So people and production oriented both put together into half of it, and you are midway. I think you are appreciated. But is it doable? Is it achieved? A lot of thought process goes into it, a lot of practice need to go into it, a lot of organizational top management to give a thought, saying that I'm not highly profit oriented. Of course, I love my profits, but the point is I can cut some profits also in some areas where people are important. I would like to give importance to people. I would like to see to it that my production goes on time. At the same time, it goes with quality. So a lot of equal importance, the customer care, production, and the internal people called employees. All the three aligned. That is where the core discussion today in most of the organizations boardroom, saying that we cannot suffer in this. At the same time, our employees are supposed to. A lot of welfare and well-being and mental well-being of the employees will also become part of your red flags. If you're not getting that, you become, rather you're being called, you're one of the foxconn in the production or in the international scenarios. If you say that, are you going to be a foxconn of another foxconn of the world, when somebody says that, this is what it is. Like, um, if you want to become one of the another Charles Sobraj, means what? You're, if somebody knows about why that context is being in, then you will understand. Uh, yes, somebody who said that. Om Kumarji. Boliye, sir. There's a good discussion. PSU people are facing change, resistance in change in their organization. Now they have to work due to political reasons. Absolutely true. Yes, sir. You're from which part of the country?
Ma'am, presently I am at Odisha.
Hmm.
Actually, ma'am, that PSU's condition is was pathetic earlier 10 years back. Just I
Ah.
want to narrate one my experience. In
Hmm.
2006, 2007,
Hmm.
I visited to DMSRD Kanpur.
Mm-hmm.
That is Defense Research Institute. They are researching on equipments.
Mm-hmm.
So there are different type of scientists, scientist A, B, C. They have levels, and
Mm-hmm.
all were having good pay and perks.
Mm-hmm.
So when we arrived, reported on Monday for
Mm-hmm.
certain items.
Mm-hmm.
So the one scientist has told, okay, today you arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was Friday, ma'am. Then he
Mm-hmm.
told, okay, we'll pack up all items on Monday. and
Mm.
you take on Tuesday.
Mm.
And the after half an hour he opened his lunch or
Mm.
breakfast box that 11:30,
Mm.
and after that 2 or 3 o'clock lunch and 4 o'clock pack up.
Mm.
And they were scientists see, ma'am, that they are having more than lakhs at that time, I'm telling.
Mm.
So they are earning, extracting lot of money, and in return they are giving nothing. And that was
Mm.
totally research institute actually, ma'am, DMSRD.
Mm.
So they are researching on the how the product can be modified for the defense forces and all everything.
Mm.
So I saw how they behave, and from top to down, everyone like that only. They just
Yeah.
go pass the time and just push off simply.
Mm.
So now I'm not supporting some party or some. When Modi has come, he has
Mm.
pushed these people who we were in snail's sleep.
Mm.
So now they are resisting to the change because they have to work now. Because PSU has a wide definition, because HAL, NAL, and DRDO, everything cannot be terms, and there are a lot of BL, HMT, like that. Lot of PSUs are there. So still they are not performing.
Mm.
You the result of Tejas and all deadline, meeting the deadline. Even the chief of Air Force has said openly on the media that we are running behind 15 years back, 15 years lagging behind with the timeline. So publicly they are speaking, ma'am. So still after 10, 15 years now, things are rapidly changing.
Yeah.
So my personal experience that they don't want to work actually. Their mindset is completely blocked. Their
Yeah.
mindset is to just push off and have the homeworks, household works, and their personal objectives.
Yeah.
And that all scientists were more than 80,000 payment, ma'am, in 2007, I'm telling. Everyone
Mm.
was picking up.
Mm.
And that scientist A, B, C, D, E, F. E, F means, ma'am, just like IS and that SP of the city.
Yeah.
So this is how they are working, ma'am. So it was my experience. So that's maybe now they have changed, but
Yeah.
that was there, ma'am.
No, no, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. That's the reason I gave sometimes some examples that I'm quoting are completely what I've seen. Everything that I'm speaking, I'm a thorough researcher and observer in the market, and I bring that change in innovation orientation wherever I go, even to a small village uh, market, vendors of the vegetables market. I do observe what they are doing, specially difficult and something very interesting. So I totally agree with you. Training the corporates are different from training the PSUs because they have a different mentality. Once it is a permanent job, nobody can do anything to me. I'll do what I can because this is what I go by the rule book because I've got these provisions. So, very interestingly, they know every provision that as a government officer or as a senior assistant or a senior scientist they get. But what is that? The flip side of the rule book is what is your responsibility? Are you also so thorough in your responsibility and accountability and deliverables? That's a challenge. That is where sometimes a government job or a permanent job where you don't have to exercise too much of hard work is also becoming too highly people oriented. Huh? Right, that is where we suffer. So this particular Blake and Mountain, although it has become more of a westernized leadership discussion, but even at this context, we'll forget about whether it is westernized or Indian, but somewhere in the middle of it. Please don't become like a foxconn of a world of a China that it is highly production oriented, which is captivating people only for production for more than 16 hours people are working. At the same time, don't become too much like a PSU, a public sector unit, which is hardly giving any, um, importance to the production. Even if the production suffers, people should get their benefits and the bonuses, and because they're into cadre, they're in that cadre forever, automatically they'll get the promotions. These two things that we see in the world is hampering. That is where the responsible leadership and the organization culture is far away from that particular organization. We cannot build, cannot even think of. But some organizations now, the small startups or some things which are actually building, they understood equally people are important and equally my production is also important. My process cannot be suffering. just because people are my people should be treated well. At the same time, my production also is equally important for me. So anyone who understood that, they are falling into this. Cutting the entire discussion short, let's say that 5.5 management technique is, I'll try to read it out what it is adequate organization performance is possible through balancing the necessity to get out of work with maintaining morale of people at satisfactory level, as well as it also gives you the production oriented, right? This is something I wanted to talk about also as part of our production process, and then how people would like to should be aligned. So, according to Likert management system theory, it says that exploitative, authoritative, benevolent, authoritative, and consultative system and participative system. Now, we all have seen in the government organizations, in certain kind of organizations, you straight away get one thing called exploitative, authoritative, right? The system is highly exploitative, system is highly authoritative. Can you actually counter their any email? Can you actually say that we cannot do it? No, there is no for you. Benevolent, they will actually have a word with you, they will talk to you, but yet you have to perform what is being given to you, because it's a highly top down approach. Correct me if I'm wrong. Many organizations, they'll say that we are calling for a discussion. Discussion is there, but decision is the same in different way or the other. So this is a very benevolent. Of course, they try to become benevolent, but highly 100% benevolent, it's a progression for an organization to become consultative. Most of the startup are very consultative. Most of the young organization, most of the organization which is led by a different set of people who are leaders in terms of what we want to do with the system, is a very consultative approach, right? We're going to have a kind of a brainstorming on new thing. Can we do it? Can we launch it? Can we progress? Can we increase our production? Can we go for this kind of employees? It's a very common test of a discussion, right? I think in my earlier organization, we used to have one policy. Even if the new director is going to come, even if the new senior position is going to come and take a position, he or she is applying, every faculty, even the senior dean and director, also will give a demo. All of us as a faculty has got a right. We're all stakeholders. We will sit as a round table, and the new dean also will give a demo in front of us. So we all said yes, we all said no. So there are so many selections happen, including the new. Sometimes it's challenging because if they know the one who is applied, there'll be some bias, but we'll try to see to it that we'll crack it. So that particular open system has made me also understand how interesting people, those who are being selected on, very collective method. We all said yes to somebody. Over a period of time, we have seen that gentleman or that lady has really been proved to be a great performer of the organization, because we have taken the demo. And after some point, there are certain kind of changes where the big positions and some positions are, after some point, no position, no entry of the person is being checked in front of a faculty council. They were entering, and they've internally some interviews were happening. There is no demo. Then we could see the deterioration of the quality. We never know. We never know what somebody has said on the resume and what they can deliver. And this is all deliverable sector. You have to speak. Whatever I write 3 pages resume, but if I'm able to deliver it on how do you know? At least a demo has to be said. So internal respect for each other as a team is important. I will not get that kind of thing, although I read your resume, but I will only try to grasp it. Where is it coming from? Because I've heard you at least a 1 hour session. I've heard you. Even 1 hour is not enough, but the point is at least 1 hour will. So consultative system, I have seen it. It's a fantastic, but the challenges are everybody will be pushing their own hidden agendas into our consultative system. That's why the decision making may take delayed. Participative, yes, you will be into higher level of a participative system, and then you'll be allowed, rather you'll be asked to give more of your feedback and in every decision making. Again, both consultative and participative decision making may not happen overnight, because you're involving people be part of that particular consultation system, but the results are going to be foolproof, because you will have less of a grapevine. What is a grapevine? Gossiping in the organizations, in the corridors. right? Why this decision has happened, what has happened, this is what the decision has taken, this is what so much of investment has happened, and this is what is not giving an ROI for us. All this gossip is in the corridors or in the tea houses will not be there, because it will be there, but you will reduce. Reason, everybody is part of it, no? You are there part of that particular consultative decision making. Why are you making a big mess out of it, right? So it's a very interesting way of taking care of your decision making, but you need to have a great patience, and you need to be more matured enough for this kind of decision making. Okay.
Madam, how
Yeah.
consultative and participative is different?
Sorry.
How these two, consultative and participative, are different? Both primarily will actually have the same elements, right?
Yeah. See, why we use a separate word called consultative and participative. In a consultative, people will ask you on a periodically, or when a new project is coming, there is a baitak. I mean, internally there's a brainstorming, and you're being part of that consultative discussion and so on. But afterwards, again, there can be a what do you call mails or a proper channel of a discussion is coming to you, but you are not part of a final decision, but there are layers of discussions took place and you are being consulted. Please do give your opinion, like your Google form is being, how many of you would like to yes to it. So there's a consultative. It's also a very interesting way, because you've got a lot of data from your bottom up, right? So most of your bottom pyramid has given you an information, that data is with you. You could say that force field analysis that we have seen in the beginning of our discussions of CHAM Unit 1. There are so many people saying yes to it. There are so many people saying no to it. You've got a data. So consultative approach will give you a window of opportunity to discuss, to consult you, and you will be part of a discussion. Participative, most of the decision making, you are being part of it. Most of it. If at all, we call it as a participative, right? Everyone, even a group HOD, or even you are a person who's dealing with 30 people under you, are also being called for a meeting, or also being asked to give your opinion that we are going to launch this, we are going to have a discussion. So participative is a very continuous, where you are being asked to participate. Consultative can become a block wise. This
Is it like
particular
more of
project we are trying to
democratic?
do, can you actually be part of the brainstorming? Afterwards, yes, we took a decision, this is what it is. Again, give your opinion on the decision, but not as on a regular basis.
Is participative more so democratic?
It has to be. Sometimes people can make even participative as authoritative. They will ask you to be participative, but they will take exactly what they want. But ultimately, participative is the most interesting, progressive thing that we all would like to do in our organization. That's a participative is more of a democratic.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. And sorry for today's one or two my technical glitches. I hope it went on well, but we'll try to see the fixing for the next week. Thank you.
Sure, ma'am. Thanks.
Yeah, sure.